Hey, I'm Ewashkiw from Adventure Yoga. Thanks for joining me. Today I am bringing you about a 45-minute class. This is a very slow, restorative-like class, but we're going to be working instead of... Restoratives can often be very passive. Some of our work will be passive, some of it will be quite intensely active because we're going to work to activate our support muscles for our back, so lower back, abdomen, and we're going to work to stretch into our hips to get our quads, to get our psoas, to get our glutes all really open and ready to support us and hold us up. I am bringing you this class because I've been sitting a lot this week and my lower back needs me to support it. And so I'm hoping that for those of you who are in a similar position, you're going to find that support here. There are a couple of props that I would like you to have for class. A yoga blanket or a blanket of any kind, and a block, or like a yoga block, or just a hardcover book, maybe one or two of those. Something to go under your pelvis and something to sit on for a few of the things that we do today. So please gather those, and I will see you on your mat in just a few seconds. For class today, you will get benefit from a couple of props. A blanket, yoga blanket, or whatever blanket you use today can be a yoga blanket today. Mine has some thickness to it, but it wasn't enough for me to be sitting on, so I chose to sit on the other prop, which is a block. So if you've got a yoga block, cool. If you don't, that's fine. You can probably find something around the house that you can sit on. Something that can go under your butt when you are in a bridge shape that's going to be solid and firm and hold you in place. So I don't want a soft, cushiony, sponge-like block, but hardcover books, encyclopedias, what are those? Dictionaries, what are those? Those sorts of things, they'll be useful. So one or two blocks, one blanket, and sit on one of them. So you can always pause right now, go get those if you forgot to do that at the beginning or if you skipped the opening. Grab them, hit play when you got them. Sit on one of your props or two or more if you need them. How do you know if you need them? Well, at a bare minimum, please sit on a blanket or a block. What I'm looking to have is that your knees are no higher than your hips or the top of your hip bone here at the front of your pelvis. So often when we sit cross-legged, our knees come up quite high. Sitting with your pelvis lifted, so on a blanket or a block, that's going to lift your pelvis up and it allows your knees to lower a little bit, but also it balances out between hips coming up, knees coming down a bit, and then you're able to get your knees to no higher than your hips. Now, I'm doing this on a fairly thick block because these blocks are pretty thick, because I found that even the folded up blanket wasn't enough height for me to be sitting here with my knees a little bit lower than my hips. So find what works for you and we will sit there for a little bit. This is our first pose. We're going to sit. I'm going to talk a little bit about your lower back. I'll try not to make it too long and technical and boring and hope it's interesting, but what we're here to do is some slower work in our body. This is not flow. I would say this is like on the verge of restorative. That's what I'm hoping that we will all learn from this and feel in our body is a little restored. So I guess restorative works. I'm here today because my lower back hurts. I know why. This was the week that I had to file our taxes, and I'm our accountant, and there was a lot going on in our business world, and so that was a lot, and I ended up sitting and just slouching, more and more and more throughout the day, thinking I'll be done soon, and you're never done soon. And then the next day my lower back was like, hey dude, you did not sit up properly. And that was 3 days ago, and I'm still working to get it back to being happy with me. And I would like my lower back to be happy with me. I'm sorry that I let you down, lower back. So I was rounding my lower back too much, and I sat there with pressure on it for several hours, so it's aggravated. Makes sense, right? That's my natural default. For some of you, your natural default is going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be overarching your back. It's going to be sticking your butt back, sticking your chest forward, having your lower back really arching forward rather than rounding back. Both of those are the extreme that we are working against when we're working to find balance in our seat, in when we're standing, and when we're moving through our practice. So yeah, it's about balance, because welcome to yoga. So this is work that if you're like me, one who rounds naturally, or you're like a lot of the population, one who arches naturally, then when you get, I guess, lazy, or when you just get forgetful, or when you get distracted like I was and working on other things, focusing on other things, you'll fall to your default. And if, like what I have done this week, it's for several hours under pressure, like physical weight pushing down, then you may find that you come away from it with an injury or sore lower back. So we're working to find balance between those two extremes and hold ourselves in that balance to get our muscles all to work in that proper alignment, the natural alignment. It is natural alignment. I should have said put the air quotes around proper. The natural alignment, so that everything can start working and supporting us, and then it will all get comfortable again. Often when you're feeling pain, it's that some part of your body is overworking to help compensate for a part of your body that isn't working enough. So by working to find the balance here and find the space to open up, that's one of the ways that I use my practice to help me alleviate discomfort and feel better and just feel more mobile. Okay, so it's a long time just sitting here thinking about this. Hopefully you have been, like, maybe imagining what's happening in your lower back. Touch it. Take one hand under your lower back. If you can go under your shirt and actually just feel the vertebrae, just move around a little, feel your lower back. See if you can feel your vertebrae sticking out, so that's a rounded lower back, or if maybe you can feel that there's like a little trench where your spine would be, but it's moving forward. That's an arching of your lower back, and right now mine feels like a wall. It feels flat, and that's because it's not arching enough, because I made those muscles get weak. I made other muscles overwork, get strained, and yeah, so I'm just working to find the balance. So if you feel your spine is sticking out, move the front of your pelvis forward and down a little bit to see if you can get your vertebrae to move in. If your vertebrae are moving forward a lot, and you know that you've got a lot of mobility in your lower back in that direction, then just move the front of your pelvis back a little bit, just a little bit, until the arching of your lower back disappears some, but only some. I don't want you to feel your vertebrae sticking out. I don't even want you to feel your back flat. It's somewhere between overarching and flat. It's in between. Well, again, that's a balance, I know. See what you can find there, see what you can feel there, and then from there, bring both hands onto your thighs and lift through your torso. You gotta hold yourself up. I can remember so many years ago, which isn't really so many years ago, I didn't hold myself up. I just thought, oh, it'll just happen, right? But we gotta use these muscles to hold ourselves up, especially when we're feeling that there is compression or pain in one part of our body. If we can hold ourselves up out of that, we may be able to alleviate the pain and feel better. So really what we're working to do is activate more muscles, activate muscles in a more balanced way. To help hold our lower back in the proper position, we're going to use our abdomen as well. So take one hand onto your belly so that sort of your palm covers your navel area. And then very gently Draw it in towards your navel and move your navel back towards your spine just a little. Just until it engages and it's like, oh, things are firing up, but not like you're overworking and you can't talk or breathe, okay? Got it? Relax. Take one hand on your lower back and see what you need to do to find a little arch in your lower back. For me, it's tip my pelvis forward and down a little. For you, it might be that. For you, it might be to move the front of your hips back a little. Then take your hand onto your belly. Move your belly, the sides of your belly in a little and back a little. Just a little. And then lift through the sides of your ribs. Lift up through your torso. Now this is Sukhasana. This is comfortable pose. But we've got to hold ourselves in that position of comfort. And if we sit here and just let all our weight compress and drop down, we're going to compress somewhere as the pressure mounts, as we sit for longer and longer periods of time. This is going to build the strength. This is going to build the support to remind you to hold yourself like this while you're sitting at your desk working, while you're sitting in the sofa working, watching TV, while you're moving around. It's about 10 minutes of sitting. We've been sitting a long time. Let's come out of it and do something else. Just carefully, consciously, because we have been here a long time. Touch the ground, lift your knees up, bring your feet down to the ground. And this is especially true if you are, like me, dealing with a lower back pain. Be careful as you move. Move the prop out of the way, tone your butt, and bring your hips down. We're going to use the blanket next. And the blanket's just going to go under your head. Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah. Just prop it up under your head at whatever height you like. I'm just going to do that. Fold. And lie down on your back. Keep your knees bent and place your feet on the ground. We're going to be here for a little bit, which is why I've got your head propped. It's nice to keep your forehead higher than your breastbone. Lift your right knee and bring it in towards your chest, and then hold the front of your right knee. Pull your right knee in towards you a little more. Keep that, and then slide your left foot away from you. Stretch your left leg out, and then bring your left heel off the ground just a little. Now bring your right knee in towards your chest more, and then hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring your left heel down, slide your heel in, and place your left foot on the ground. Bring your right foot down to the ground. Bring your left knee in towards you and hold the front of your left knee. Pull your left knee in a little closer and then slide your right foot away. Straighten your right leg and then lift your right heel off the ground just a little. Pull your left knee in towards your chest a little more and hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring your right heel down, slide your right heel in. Right foot to the ground, left foot to the ground. Again, right knee, pull it up and in towards you. This time turn your right leg out and bring your right ankle above your left knee. I know that some of my lower back pain is because my glutes are really tight right now. I have been curling a lot. Not my hair, because I don't have very much up here. It's a little too short to curl. Curling, like the sport on ice. Yep, I am in Canada and I love it and it's been super fun, but you use your glutes a lot. So this just here is a lot for me right now. Push your right ankle onto your left leg and then move your right knee away from your right shoulder. So move it away from you. Now lift your left foot up and pull your left knee in towards you. Keep your right knee moving away. It's going to want to move towards you so you get less stretch. Take your right arm between your legs and hold the front of your left shin. Hold your left hand on your left shin as well. So just like we were doing with just our left leg. Now you got your right leg wrapped around it and pull it in. Pull your left knee in. As your right elbow bends, you can touch your right leg with your right elbow, and that'll help you push your right knee away from you. Pull your left knee towards you. Find a point where you're like, okay, this is plenty. I'm feeling it in my outer right hip.
Now, I am really rounding my lower back here, and that's the thing I'm working to counter right now. So I'm going to encourage you to join me here in making it a little harder. And the way we do that is unround our back. Think about your tailbone, very bottom of your spine, and you're going to stretch your tailbone towards the top of your mat. So stretch your tailbone forward. It's going to probably move your left knee and your right leg away a little, but think what's happening in your lower back. Oh, my lower back's off the ground. I did it. It didn't take that long. So I'm just arching my lower back a little by moving your tailbone forward. Find that, see if you can get your lower back off the ground. That, depends a little bit on your body makeup. So if you can feel that your lower back is arching, but your flesh is still touching the ground, that's great. That's what we're going for. It's the muscular arch of the lower back. Then think about that and keep your lower back arching. So keep your pelvis here and bring your left knee a little closer towards you. Now you should start to feel it in your outer right leg even more. If you start to practice this pose regularly, you will learn where your comfortable position is normally. Normally I can have my right shin very close to my chest. Now I'm very far away. Hold this. I'll be quiet here for a little bit and offer you some guidance in what engagement to do. Pull with your hands. Push your right knee away from your right shoulder. Arch your lower back. Bring your shoulders down to the ground. And steady your breath. You will want to start relaxing. Your body will just naturally do it. So keep engaging. Keep arching your lower back. Keep pulling with your hands. Keep moving your right knee away from your right shoulder. And push your shoulders into the ground. That's going to pull your leg in even a little closer. Get things tighter in your right hip, so that we can open it. This can be a huge cause of lower back pain. But you have to be in charge here. You have to listen to yourself. You have to re-engage as you start to open up. Take it deeper as you can to keep the opening happening. This is stretching muscles that are tight. Feel them stretch. Keep them stretching. And then slowly start to release that so that you can change sides. Slowly, take your time. So we're going slow today. Really, are we? Yeah. Bring your left ankle above your right knee. We're really not going to do very many poses. Bring your right knee up and in towards your chest. Same thing as the other side. Move your left knee away from your left shoulder. Take your left arm in between your legs and hold your right shin with your hands. Pull your right knee in towards your chest. Push your left knee away from you with your left elbow. And now we got to do the arch in our lower back. So, think about your tailbone and uncurl it and stretch it towards the top of your mat so your pelvis moves, so your right knee moves away from you a little, so you can feel your lower back engage, arch, and start to lift away from the mat. Keep your lower back arching and bring your right knee in a little more until the point of, okay, that's where things are tight and it's not really going to go anymore. Push your shoulders down into the mat. See, it went a little further. Even if it's a millimeter of movement. Keep it engaged. I like to close my eyes here and really just focus. If that helps you, close your eyes and focus. Focus on what? Stay engaged in your muscles so that they stay in the stretch, helping you open your glutes, open your lower back. So arch your lower back, pull with your hands, push your left knee away. Push your shoulders down to the ground. And keep the tension in your outer left hip, in your inner left thigh. Keep the tension in your lower back, as in keep it arching. Re-engage as you need to, as you're here. Steady your breath to help you focus. Take your time, slowly release so that you can bring your right foot down to the ground and then bring your left foot down to the ground. That stretch, Sukhi Randrasana, is really, or Supta Hindolasana, it's sometimes called. It's really good for getting into your hip, into your glutes. But there's another one I really like that's complementary. So we're going to do that. And that's Gomukhasana legs, or cow face pose legs, on your back. So it's like this. Cross your right leg over your left. So just like you're crossing your legs. And then pick your legs up and bring them in. That little grunt there, I don't know if you heard I went, bring your legs up. That's because my lower back is like, oh, we're working. Right, you're working me out. You're getting me open. That's right, I am. All right, so now you got to hold your feet. How? So if you can, hold your feet. Move your right foot, that's this top leg, move your right foot over to the left, and then grab it with your left hand. Then you got one foot. It's a good start. Don't reef on it, because I don't want you to hurt your knee, but move your left foot now over to the right. Lift your head if you need to. Curl up and grab your right foot. Now you're just going to open your knee joints a bit and bring your head down to the ground. So a bit. My knees are at a roughly 90-degree angle. It's probably a little less. So if you can do this, awesome. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Push your feet into your hands and pull with your hands. Just a little pull with your hands. You're not trying to bring your feet down. You're just trying to create resistance between your feet and your hands. The real work is to bring your left knee down towards your chest more. And then you'll start to feel your outer right, your outer butt is really gonna get a good stretch here. It's like the bottom of your right glute max and a little bit of your, feels like my sartorius, my TFL are getting like some flexion going on here. Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Right, so the TFL is getting stretched. That's what's happening, I guess. I'm not an anatomy genius. So as you bring your knees in, you're probably starting to feel this in your outer right hip. My outer right hip is like, oh, hey there, Steven. My glute max, the bottom of my glute max, is going to really feel stretch when I do this. I love this. Resist your feet into your hands. Pull with your hands a little. And then pull your knees into your chest. Get a little more glute stretch. Hold it. And stay here. And feel it. Breathe. Slowly bend your knees. Arch your back, bring your left foot down, uncross your legs, bring your right foot down. Other side. Didn't that feel great? Oh my God. Give your butt a little shake. Cross your left leg over your right. Bring your knees up. And then start with your top leg. So move your left foot towards the right, and then hold it with your right hand. That side's pretty easy for most people. If it's not for you, go do what you can do. You don't have to hold your feet here. Move your right foot over to the left, and then do what you can. Lift your head, lift your shoulders, grab your right foot with your left hand. And then take your knees a little wider, bring your head and shoulders back down to the ground. Push your feet into your hands. Pull with your hands a little. And then with your right knee, bring it down and in towards your chest as tight as you can. Push your feet in your hands. Pull down with your hands a little and resist with your feet. As you get your right knee closer to your chest, your bottom left butt is going to start to scream at you. Your bottom left butt as opposed to your top left butt. It actually is. It's the bottom of your glute max that's going to get a primary stretch here. Probably some of the glute medius, glute minimus, maybe even a little here. Kick your feet out a little. Pull down a little, push up a little, and pull your right knee into your chest. And then hold here. Feel the stretch. Open it up. And then slowly bend your knees and round your back. So arch your back, bring your feet down. Give your hips a little shake. Oh yeah. Feels so good. And grab a block. Keep your head on the blanket. Lift your hips and place the block underneath your pelvis. So not under your butt, really. It's actually your sacrum. So that wedge-shaped bone at the very bottom of your spine, where like the waistband is sort of. You want the block to go across the sacrum. So I'm going wide width with my block here. So I've got lots of coverage, and my lower back can be super stable here. This gives your lower back a chance to start to release and relax, which is really, really nice when it's been overworking. And it's going to start to find the natural shape of your natural curves while you're here. Place one hand on your belly and draw the sides of your waist in a little, move back towards your spine a little, and then you might also start to feel your lower back engages as you do that. All sorts to knit everything together and help you open up. Another culprit from sitting, from being in that position of like sitting in a chair, sitting on a sofa, whatever we're doing that keeps our knees up, is that our psoas muscle gets short too. So we're going to want to stretch that. We're going to start here. Pull your right knee in towards your chest, like we did near the very opening. And hold the front of your right knee. Bring it in a little more. Slide your left foot away from it. Come up onto your left heel. And if you find that the prop you're on isn't stable enough, stabilize it. I don't want you falling over here. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. Lift your left foot off the ground, hover it, and stretch it away from you. Pull your right knee in towards you, and then stretch your left foot away and bring your left foot down to the ground. Push your left foot down to the ground tighten up your left butt and lift the front of your left hip. So you're not going to lift it, just open the front of your left hip. By pushing your left heel down, tightening up your left butt, and you'll feel the front of your left hip open a little bit more. Keep pushing down through your left heel. Keep drawing in with your right knee and engage your left butt. And hold for 3, 2, 1, and slowly release and change sides. So bring your left foot in and your right foot down. You can always take a second in. Take as many seconds as you want in between sides. Give your sacrum a little rub on the block. And then bring your left knee into your chest when you're ready and hold the front of your left knee. Slide your right foot away until your right leg is straight. Come up onto the heel of your right foot. And then bring your left knee in towards your chest. Careful that you don't fall off your prop. And then slowly lift your right heel off the ground just a little. And stretch your right leg away from you. Stretch it as far away as you can so that you get long in your right leg, long in your hip. Pull your left knee in a little tighter. Keep stretching out through your right leg and bring your right heel down to the ground reluctantly. Push down through your right heel. Engage your right butt so that the front of your right hip opens up. Pull your left knee in, push your right heel down, engage your right butt. And then stay there. Breathe. So yeah, tight hip flexors can pull our body into an arched lower back, which causes lower back pain. So it's one of the reasons we're doing these. We're just working all the way around to open up. And then start to release. I feel like that might not have been even. You might have had a little longer on the first side. There we are. Bend your right leg. Stay on the block for a moment. Let your lower back relax and settle into the block. You can always adjust where it is if you would like to. Bring your knees together and take your feet a little bit wider. Then think about your lower back. Create space there with your mind. I don't know how you do that. Just imagine it. I like to think I'm placing my breath in my lower back, in my sacrum. To come out of this, we're going to have to engage our pelvic floors. So, before you just come out of this, move your knees away a little, heel toe your feet in until your feet are underneath your knees. And then squeeze the sides of your butt in. So squeeze the sides of your pelvis in. Squeeze your sit bones in towards each other. Any of those make sense? Move the front and back of your pelvis towards each other as well. So move your pubic bone and tailbone towards each other. Move the sides of your pelvic floor in, front and back of your pelvic floor in. If that doesn't work for you, squeeze everything tight like you have to pee, but you're trying to stop. Try not to. Do that. Push your feet down. Lift your hips a little. Move the block out of the way and bring your hips back down to the ground. Engage the bottom of your pelvic floor again. And bring your knees into your chest. And hold the front. I don't know, I got the block still. Hold the fronts of your knees for a second. And just rock from side to side for a second. Rock front and back to see how things are feeling. And if there are parts that are sore, like just be aware of that and don't hurt yourself here. Cool. Stretch your legs out on the ground. Stretch your arms up and overhead. I'm going to move my block out of the way. I actually don't mind that the blanket is here. It's fine under my head. If it's in the way for you, you can always just move it though. Now take your left foot and cross your left ankle over your right. Hook your thumbs overhead and we're going to side bend to the right. Side bend to the right. Just side bend in your upper body. And then if you've got the ability to side bend in your lower body, move your feet over to the right side. And see if you can get a little more. And then look to the left. And move your left ribs down towards the ground. And stay here and breathe. So here we're working on opening your psoas major, your iliopsoas we did in the last one. So really stretch through your left side, push your left ribs over to the left and down towards the ground, side bend to the right. And breathe. Keep stretching your left side. Keep shortening your right side. And slowly start to come back up to center. Side bend your upper body and your lower body. Keep your arms up and overhead. Straighten your body out, so look down your body and straighten it. And then change the cross of your legs. So right ankle crosses over your left ankle. I'm not sure I've got enough room here, but I'm going to find out. Side bend to the left. Stretch it over to the left. Coffee plant got in the way. So I'm going to just modify with my space a little. Side bend over to the left. And then see if you can move your feet over to the left as well. It's a little more awkward from the position I got myself into. But I'm getting a bit of it. There we go. And then look to the right and bring the right side of your ribs down towards the ground. Really shorten the left side of your body. Really stretch your ribs over to the right and then down towards the right side of your mat as well. And stay here and breathe. So I'm really pulling with my thumbs to really get my arms as strong as I can. They would ideally be straight, but I've got plants in the way. Side bend to the left. Shorten your left side as much as you can here. Shift your feet to the left a little more, hips to the right a little more. Bring the right side of your ribs down, right shoulder down. And smile. And breathe. And stretch your psoas. And slowly undo that. Straighten it out. All right, while we are on our backs, we're going to do one more stretch here. Bend your right leg, grab the front of your right foot. Now we're going to get the front of your right shin down to the ground. That's our goal here. So turn over to the left and flip your right foot over. Place the top of your right foot on the ground. Place your right knee on the ground. Now, if your right knee is way off the ground and not coming down to the ground, no matter how much you turn it in and stretch it down, try that. Turn your right knee in, stretch it forward and down. And if that's not going to get down to the ground, you can take the blanket from under your head, if it's still there, and put it under your other hip. So put it under your left hip. Just find the right height for it so that you can find a little more balance in your legs, and while your right knee might not still come to the ground, it will just help your hips be a little more even here. Push down through the toes on your right foot and stretch your right knee forward and down. Tighten up your right butt so that your quads are stretching. They probably are stretching, right? Yeah. It's like, I don't need you to tell me to stretch my quads here, Stephen. That is the beauty of Ardha Supta Virasana. This is a yoga pose. Half on your back hero's pose is that as long as you're squeezing your butt, as long as you're pushing your right foot down, as long as you're stretching your right knee forward, quads are going to be stretching like crazy. And the main quad is a hip flexor. Yeah, so you got to stretch it if your back is arching too much from muscle tension. So it's not just your psoas. Got to stretch quads. Yeah. Engage your right butt. Push your right foot down. And relax. How? Relax your left butt, relax your right butt, let your right knee move out a little, bend your left knee, push your left foot onto the ground, and then lean over to the left, slide your right foot away, take your time, be careful with your right knee. If you use the prop on the first side, use it on the second side, so set up with it underneath your right hip. Cool. And then grab your left ankle, lean over to the right, and pull your left foot back towards your left hip. Point your toes, place the top of your toes, top of your left foot on the ground, and then turn your hips so that they're facing up towards the ceiling. Turn your left leg in, and stretch your left knee forward and down. You might need to adjust with your left foot. Ideally, your left foot is going back straight, and your right knee is going forward straight. Cool. You can stay here or slide your right leg out and bring your right foot down to the ground. I like one hand on my belly, one hand over my heart. It just helps me settle here. Push down through your left toes. Engage your left butt. Oh, hello quads. Stretch your left knee forward and down. Push down through your left foot. Tighten up your left butt. You should feel the front of your left leg here. If you don't, send me a little note and we'll talk about that, okay? You gotta engage your left butt though. You gotta give yourself the quad stretch. The shape will do it for a lot of you, but you gotta keep working it so that it keeps opening. So you keep creating more space, which is really what's going to help us find the ability to use our muscles evenly, to find the balance, to re-engage in a way that takes away our pain and helps us move pain-free, stronger, more confident, because we don't feel so bad, right? We know that we can look after ourselves. We know that we are able to support ourselves. We know that we can figure out what's wrong and look at the problem and see where we can be of assistance to ourselves, see where we can be of assistance to our friends, our family, our loved ones, right? That's really why we do this. And now my left quad is starting to open up. Right? I can feel it, because we've been here a while. I can feel like it's like, oh yeah, I gotta re-engage, get more opening. Because I don't just want that first layer of opening for you, I want multiple layers. That's why we hold for a long time. And then relax. Pull your right heel in, lean to your right, and lift your left knee up. Somehow, carefully, unbend it. Give your leg a little chance to straighten out. Shake it. If you're on a prop, come off the prop carefully. And then turn onto your side and sit up. Please sit on a blanket or a block, as you like. Sit cross-legged. And sit up tall. Because there's this
restorative type of practice, we are not going to do a shavasana because I've got us upright. We're going to do a little meditation. So please do sit on your cushion. If you would prefer to, your cushion, your blanket, if you would prefer to lie down, be my guest. So you can lie down and do a little shavasana here. I'm going to do a very lightly guided meditation. Work to find a little arch in your lower back and move your belly back towards your spine to support your spine. Lift through the sides of your torso and hold yourself up so that your upper body almost feels light and free. Close your eyes. And instead of looking out, look in. Think about the bottom tips of your shoulder blades and draw them down towards the opposite back pocket. So right shoulder blade down towards your left back pocket. Left shoulder blade down towards your right back pocket. Tone your belly. Lift up. This work of finding the balance, finding the opening, finding the strength to hold yourself up, to rebalance your work in your body, to notice where you have been letting yourself down and where you can recommit your focus. All of that is part of your journey to being your best self. Hold yourself up. Be your support. You have enough. You are enough. Start to deepen your breath. Keep holding yourself up. Bring your hands in front of your heart in the prayer position, Anjali Mudra. And thank yourself for practicing. Thanks for practicing. Namaste. I can really notice the difference after going through all of that work. I love that slow and steady approach, and it's part of my regular home practice. I hope that it's something that has helped you, and that it may be a little different than what you're used to, but also just helps you feel things in a way that maybe you've been missing, and now you can take that experience to help you support yourself. Thanks for practicing. If you're looking for another class of mine to do in the future, you can click there and add that class to your watch later list. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please take a second, click my picture over there, and click the little bell icon so that you get notifications when I post new classes. If you've got comments, put it below, and I'll get back to you. Thanks, homies.